The other aspect of this is which is intended to deal with with a more critical thinking, open-ended style work that computers currently cannot grade using today's technology. And here we put in place a mechanism for students to grade or critically assess each other's work using a rubric or careful criteria provided by the instructor. And it turned out that if you design this rubric well, you get very good correlation between the teacher-assigned score, which is at the bottom, and or the x-axis, and the peer grades, which is on the y-axis. You see a very strong straight correlation there, which I would argue is about comparable to what you'd get by two teaching assistants doing the same amount of grading the same work. So this is, and this is something that we see consistently in other classes as well. And this allows you to grade a very broad range of work, including work in essay questions, which is the assignment that I showed you in the previous one. This was actually a sociology final exam with 3 open-ended essay questions. What you see here is a design course, and students were grading designs provided by other students, again using a grading rubric provided by the instructor. And students produce very nice designs without actual any kind of input from the instructor directly, but rather all having feedback from their peers. And what we see here is that furthermore, in addition to this being a very viable mechanism for scalable grading, it actually is a very useful learning experience for the students. We're told consistently by students that they learn as much or more by grading the work of their peers as they did by doing the assignments themselves in the first place, because their minds are open to the problem, having just attempted it, and they now see different solutions of that problem provided by different people, and that really sort of teaches them that there's different ways to tackle the problem. The last pillar of the student experience here is a community. Students work with each other all the time. They ask questions on the discussion forum. Other students answer questions on the discussion forum. So effectively what we do here is a form of peer teaching and not just peer grading. Again, substituting for the inability of an instructor to interact one-on-one with 50,000 students. And in some sense, this is perhaps a counterintuitive result. Everyone talks about the benefit of small classes. Here you have the benefit of large classes. As the number of active users grow on the x-axis, the time taken for one student to get a response to their question when asked in the discussion forum decreases, and the quality of the answer increases. And so you actually get benefits to having larger classes with more students. So I'm going to now move to talking about certification, which is the final end product of this. And this is a place where we've done a lot of work in trying to deal with both identity verification and academic integrity, so that we know that when we're giving somebody a credential at the end, be it formal or informal, we know who it is that did the work. So this is the first and maybe more lightweight version of this, where the students get the certificate by going through an identity verified track. At the beginning of the course, or 2 or 3 weeks into it, when they're convinced they want to take it, they create a biometric profile that is tied to the real-world ID via government-issued picture ID. They submit the ID, the webcam takes their picture, they create a biometric profile that consists of both a picture and a keystroke profile, which it turns out is very hard to forge. Every person's typing patterns are quite distinct and individual. And then every time the student submits work, we know that it's they at the keyboard doing the work, which allows us to say at the end of the course that it was that student participating in the course activity and provide them a much more meaningful identity verified credential. This is one level of certification. A next level of certification for those courses where you actually want to give students